What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Plastic Power Podcast. This is Starblast Studios alongside Daredevil 19 and Champ Animations. Before we actually get through the introductions and such, we want to make sure that the stream is actually working. We are live right now. This is a live episode number 66, if I'm not mistaken.
And 66.
66. And today, if you
can... three more episodes, so we'll be to 69.
Oh my goodness. Something special for that episode.
Yeah, should have
Let's
waited.
bring on Roshi. Let's bring back Roshi.
Oh no.
I know, right? Oh.
All right, well, let's just see if anyone's watching right now. Jordan, okay. First and foremost, we're going to be talking about Dragon Ball Daima episode 9 and 10. And joining us today for the episode is Jordan The Dragonlee.
What's up, guys? All right, let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Let me just make sure
it's going, man. I'm just recovering from being sick, dude.
Yeah, man. Like a lot of people have been getting sick lately. My brother was sick for a while. I had to cover for him at work. He's doing better now, thankfully. But man, he looked like a zombie, like a lot of last week.
What are people getting? Is it just
another
cold
flu? Maybe like another mutant version of COVID. I don't know, bro.
Most likely.
Yeah, people always get sick around this
Another
time.
Anomaly.
It happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting congested a lot the other day, but I'm fine now.
Yeah.
Luis Ortez says, "What's up, everyone? An awesome video and awesome stuff." We didn't even do the video, bro. What are you talking about?
Thank you. Well, we just started it.
Yeah, we just started it. Okay. Okay. So episode 9 of Dragon Ball Daima starts off. This is not a filler episode, but it starts off with Goku and Pansy and Gloria. They're all going to play, and they stay at a hotel for a little bit. And while they're at the hotel, they meet, like, you see, like, who we know is going to be the Wolfman, and there's this bird guy who I can't remember what his name is. It had something to do with, like, Bandit or something.
Was that the Wolfman from the trailer that you kept bringing up?
Yeah. That guy ended up being the Wolfman. Okay. You saw the episode, right? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I forgot what he looked like in the trailer.
Yeah, I know.
So I wasn't sure if that was the one you were talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that was him. We even saw the exact shot where he was holding up a guy. So they were causing some rampage. So this is like right after the beautiful episode where Goku fought Tamagami number 3. And so these guys go in to steal the Dragon Ball. But it's interesting because I think there might be a little bit of a deeper meaning. Jordan, maybe you can give me your thoughts on this. Is there any specific significance that you can think of? The fact that they went on to, like, that this hotel is on a gigantic tree and then they escaped to the very top of it. Because I feel like there's something there that I might not be able to catch, catch.
Tree of Might. The Tree of Might, brother.
I mean, I could probably pull some deeper meanings out of it, but I just think that it's a convenient area to have something like that play out, because what happens is they take the Dragon Ball, Pansy takes that, she's like, oh, I have a tracker on it, and then, they are immediately able to find it due to the fact that they just went up, right?
No.
So, as far as the plot and the story goes, it's like it's like a skyscraper in the demon realm, like, kind of, like, it's like they just went to the higher floor of the building, and that was the reason that her tracker was able to pick it up immediately, and they could immediately go after them. So had they flown off somewhere else where the tracker couldn't pick it up, like within their immediate vicinity, they never would have found the Dragon Ball. So I see it more so as like a matter of convenience than anything else.
I was kind of the thing is that was really interesting is that, like, I don't even think that she placed the tracker on the Dragon Ball because when the Dragon Ball fell out of the bag, there wasn't anything connected to it. I think the Dragon Ball the tracker was in the bag.
It might work like a Dragon radar, kind of just picks up like the energy source from
no,
radiation.
It's a tracker. She placed it's like
she put a tracker on it,
yeah, bro. It's like those Apple AirTags from those iPhones you love.
They put it Apple AirTag.
If Pansy had a dragon radar, like an actual dragon radar, people would throw such a fit about that.
Yeah, it's just
like they would not like that.
To be fair, like to be fair, I would say that not because I don't think it's dumb, because I think Pansy's is actually built up to have like a very very similar to Bulma so far in the story. But I would say that there's no incentive reason right now in the story for her to even be able to make this, because everyone knows where the Dragon Balls are. It's not like you're trying to hunt for them. They know where they are. They're Yeah. Good evening, Chef R.D. Harris. Thank you for joining the stream. But yeah, So it was an interesting thing where they go right after them after, and you get this Champion, why don't you explain a little bit what happened right after?
Right after they
It's like you caught me slacking.
I know they basically have a fight that Goku catches up to them, right? And I'll just let you continue because I don't want to be the guy taking up all the talking in the podcast.
No, go ahead. Right. You go ahead.
Okay.
I'll let you perfectly summarize better than I do.
Okay, so
yeah, that's why we let you talk a lot too.
All right, so they go up top. They catch them with the tracker, and then you get like this interesting fight. Goku's like just displaying his power, and those guys are just like running away.
It was just funny how he just popped up behind them. Like I know exactly what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
it was just
like they're just acting. It's like that classic
thing.
like comedy thing where just it's like they're having they have a conversation, like they're just responding back to him after Goku asks a question, and then he's like, and they're like, wait a second, what are you here?
Yeah. It's an element of Dragon Ball that's been missing for a very long time. Yeah. Because like back in the original Dragon Ball, Goku was like he was the monster of the story. Like he was the guy who was constantly scaring everyone, sneaking up on them, intimidating them, and things of that nature. And then as the power scaling has moved up, it's been more so about finding people who are stronger than him, right? So that's one of the things that I really like about Daima is it really brings that back where Goku, he is the monster of the story, which they treat him more like a god, I guess, in this scenario. But I really enjoy that about Daima.
Yeah, it's kind of like in that
Dragon Ball feel.
That comedic humor that they're doing is very similar to the reactions and the chemistry that the Red Ribbon Army would have in response to Goku. So it's just like, it's really funny how they're going about it. So they're like, Goku, I think he grabs he fights him for a little bit, and then he grabs the Dragon Ball. Actually, an interesting thing I noticed, when the Dragon Ball is rolling, the star stays in the exact same position. So all those cosplay Dragon Balls that you have, they're never going to be fully accurate because there's no way you can make it to where the star is like actually in the, exact same spot in a translucent circle. Because...
Well, yeah, that's something they also added in Super too. Like they originally wasn't like that. Like that's something they added when Super came around, that the star just stays still, which is interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know because I remember like wasn't there one of the Dragon Balls rolling in one of the credits and such for OG Dragon Ball? I could have sworn there was that. I need to double check that because I don't remember if the stars in there rotated at that in there or not.
Yeah, I don't think they were doing that back then. I think they made it a more mystical thing as time progressed. So I could be wrong.
You think
I just don't remember.
So the stars didn't rotate there either. So then it's not a new thing.
No, what I'm saying is I'm pretty sure it is a new thing. I'm pretty sure back then the animation department wasn't thinking about it because the thing is because Toriyama's been more involved with Super and not just that, Iyoku as a person has a much better understanding of some of the underlying themes of Dragon Ball than a lot of the higher ups who have been directly involved with like how Dragon Ball is received and perceived. So, like, there's a lot of, like, mystical elements and, like, minor details that they add in, like, later Super that they wouldn't during the original run of Super because he was working with a company who was interested in portraying his work correctly, but at the same time, it's a corporation, So they're asking them to, like, make it to where the stars sit still when they roll is just like a little much at that point.
I don't know. I think that'd actually be easier in terms of animation if the stars didn't move. So them actually making it animate.
But you would think, but the way that they do it is like the way that they do it, it's not because the star is literally sitting still the whole time, and you have to animate everything around that rather than just making a new animation every frame.
I guess so. In the case of like at that point in time, like when everything was more traditionally animated, but now with everything being digital, it's much easier to just copy and paste the stars over to the next
because they can just take that star, have it sit exactly where they want it, and then make the next transition centered around that. Whereas back then they had to draw each individual page, so it's not like that.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, Cyberspell's in the chat. He's saying, "Yo, good to have you." So Glorio does this thing where he gets those guys, and this was actually like a one bit of animation in the episode that I thought was very weird, which I didn't expect it. But it was like when he pulls out the lightning and he gets the wolf guy and the wolf man and the bird dude, wraps him up in like doing the lightning whip or something from like this isn't a Star Wars thing, I don't think. It's like a Dragon Quest.
It's more
thing.
like a Dragon Quest thing, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
So like he has
Star Warsy, really.
So I thought it was strange. So he shoots the lightning at him, and then the way that he's spinning around, it's like they're right on top of him, but they didn't really display that all too well in the animation department. Like he brought him up top because like they
yeah, and
like
when he throws them, it's so wacky.
Like they're spinning him around and they're dropping frames.
Yeah, they're just like. it's super wacky. A lot of Daima I think is wacky like that on purpose though, because I think they're trying to have that. There's like a really popular form of Chinese film like in modern China where everything is really wacky in that sense. Like they try to make everything hyper realistic in some sense in terms of the special effects and stuff like that. But then they'll add in like little comedic moments like that make absolutely no sense at all, just to like keep it fresh. And I think that Daima is trying, because Toriyama, he is an admitted fan of those type of movies like Kung Fu Hustle. Like the guy who created Kung Fu Hustle. Hired Toriyama to draw the cover art for one of his films. Yeah, and Stephen Chow and Toriyama were really, really, really good friends. And Stephen Chow basically made an entire film dedicated to Toriyama, which Toriyama loved. So, it would naturally Toriyama might adapt that kind of directing style. And since he was the one that was like overlooking the production of Daima in a more meticulous way than he has before, it makes perfect sense that they would do little things like that, because it is like Toriyama's project more than Toei's project in that sense.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, if you guys are stopping by, leave a like on the stream. It definitely helps us out. But yeah, anyway, so continuing on with that, like they throw the guys out and then they go back to the hotel and they're protecting the Dragon Ball. And when that's going on, you get this funny scene where Goku, he's trying to like stay awake as everyone else goes to sleep, and it's like he's like there's like this frame where he's trying to keep his eyes open, and it totally looks like something out of like like a comedy show like Tom and Jerry or something, like that scene where Tom is like trying to keep his eyes open like to watch over Jerry. Or something.
Oh wait, she forgot the most important lore drop of all.
What's that?
Goku only takes a shower once a week. This man is stanky.
But then he did like the shower, so
he probably at least eats clean,
He eats clean.
He eats clean.
I mean, yeah. I don't know, bro. Man just been totally fine with eating whatever he wanted out of the demon realm and not questioning what's in it.
You know what? That's a great point. He probably smells straight up like bad charcoal Burger King burgers, bro.
Yeah, that's what made him poop in that other episode. He's like, oh, I can't go that anymore.
Most likely.
He's like, you got to tell him.
What I really liked in episode 9...
That's the real demon of the demon realm.
It's those demon realm Burger King burgers.
What I really liked on episode 9 was they brought Vegeta and Piccolo and Bulma more into it, which I've been waiting for them. And one of Jordan's favorite scenes is the club scene where Vegeta's beating the shit out of those guys. It was just, we were just talking about it earlier, how it was so random. But it was fun.
Well, you're never going to get to see Vegeta in a club fighting again. You're never gonna get to see that again. That's it. That's it. You got it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I think it was a really cool parallel to whenever Goku was in the burger restaurant.
Yeah.
He's Prince, right? So if Vegeta came up on a burger joint like that, he'd be like, no. But if he came up on like a club where everything all fancy, and he gets some food there, he'd be like, okay, yeah, we'll check this out. So when I saw him in the club, I was thinking he's in the club because he's a spoiled brat and he wanted to go to like the nicest place possible to go eat, and it was just like.
Oh no, he's cutting out for
Oh
me.
no.
No, Jordan.
Froze.
Dang.
He froze.
He froze. He's gone. Oh
yeah,
man.
it was either until he gets back. It was either Vegeta or Bulma that wanted to go there for sure.
Yeah, they
Bulma
wanted to go to
reminds
like
me
a fancy
someone wants
place
to go
which
to a
has
pub.
like, all the lighting. Yeah, a
'Cause they
massive
do live-
contrast with Goku. Goku would be happy going anywhere. Vegeta wanted to go like to like
they
a
both
fancy
live
spot.
that. Yeah, they have a more fancy-ish lifestyle compared to Goku and Chi-Chi. They're more laid back, more mellow, living a basic lifestyle. While Vegeta and Bulma, like what Jordan was saying, Vegeta's prince. He's probably always lived that high lifestyle, and Bulma's always been rich her whole life. So,
Mhm.
I thought it was the what's the guy's name? The one that wanted to go to this beauty salon. I forget the guy.
Ibis.
I thought it was his idea to go to the club.
Imagine it was.
You know what? It
like,
actually,
Vegeta and
thinking about
Bulma.
it might have been like he had money. He had extra money to spare. So and he probably using the king's money, to pay for all that.
And
Bulma's currency gonna work.
he did the king owed him a pizza from I think the previous episode.
Yeah, the pizza. Yeah.
yeah. And what I also liked about this episode, Vegeta beats the crap out of these goons, right?
Mhm.
And they get all mad, and then is it the next morning or night? I forgot if it was the morning or night when they go out
what
there.
happened was they realized that their plane got stolen, and so they're just sitting there stagnant for a little bit. I think Goku meets up with them in the next morning, and then he's like, "Oh man, Jordan's left. Okay, I'm just like right in the middle. Okay, he's back.
He's right back. That's
He's
what
back.
I figured it was probably restarting.
I'm Jordan Lee now. The name's on my end.
Yeah,
okay.
so
Jordan in
just
Starblast Studios. Hey guys, welcome Starblast Studios to the podcast.
But I liked how Goku, you thought they were gonna take him and bring him with them. Goku's like, sorry, we don't have room, and then they just leave, and it's like, oh, what's going on here? But then those goons show up, and Vegeta just beats the shit out of him again, and Piccolo helps this time too.
Yeah, he's like, hey, show us where the ship was. But hey, we're missing a very important detail, something that seemed very small, but the implication of this is large. Ibis has an eye on his belt that he found in the mountains.
That's the third eye.
That's got to be the third eye.
Yeah, it's got.
I love this character. He's so freaking funny. He's just
that is a very Dragon Ball thing that happened. Is it's like, oh, this thing that's probably going to be in the relative to the plot later. Yeah, I just found it in the woods.
Bulma is wanting to wish, but I believe Deborah's that was his name, right? Deborah's father.
Abura, yeah.
He was
Abura.
He was the last one to have it. Abura. Yeah, he was the last one to have it. So
it was lost during his era, but that doesn't mean he was the last one to have it.
Actually, it doesn't even mean that he was the one who lost it. Maybe one of his subordinates lost
it. Because if he had it, he wouldn't have been so interested in closing off the demon realm from the mortal realm. You know what I mean?
Curious.
Like he'd been I'm so
He's like, oh shit! I can't control anything anymore. Close off the demon.
I personally think that it didn't disappear. I think that Abra was such an asshole that they were like, we can't let this guy have the eye, and they basically hid it from him. That's what I think.
Yeah. You're probably right. Yeah, the dude. I mean, Deborah was a bit of an asshole too, and the father. Look at Vegeta and his father. His father was kind of an asshole too.
Oh,
and Vegeta also was. But it makes sense. But what I want to know is how much stronger that makes whoever has it. I'm curious how.
Well, what I want to know is if the eye is conscious, which it appears to be.
Yeah.
When they combine with the eye, does the eye have an impact on their personality? That's what I want to know.
That's interesting.
Because if that's the case, then the final villain isn't actually going to be whoever gets the eye. It's going to be the eye
itself.
That's interesting.
Oh my gosh. That's so I didn't think about that. All right, I love that.
Speaking of villains, we have the birth of Majin Buu.
Majin Buu.
First off, okay, to me. I want to call out the people on Twitter because Okay,
no.
but both people on two sides were wrong. The people that were defending the design, saying that it's actually like an
Oh yeah.
impactful design. That no, okay, you didn't know what the design was meant to be for. Like I'm just saying, it follows Toriyama's philosophy, but they were saying, oh, this character's gonna be badass. We didn't know anything about this, and the people who were saying that it's goofy, they're actually more right, but they're saying that it's like saying that they're saying them saying that it's bad because their perception of like what this character is gonna be, like he's supposed to be like this badass, the next variation of Majin Buu or whatnot, like he's going to supersede Buu. That's already also incorrect. So both people on both sides have an incorrect notion of that, and they're just mostly false. This character does look goofy, but the fact of the matter is that he's supposed to be goofy because he's a gag character. And most people now, after the episode 10 came out, which we saw more, ended up actually liking Majin Buu and took back their statements, that he's bad. I'm just saying, it's like this fandom needs to think more about
it. Happens constantly. It happens constantly.
I'm not even surprised.
They'll do something. They'll do, and luckily Daima's weekly. So we only had to wait a week for them to be like, "Oh, okay, my bad." But normally, if you remember back during the Super Manga era, it was a month. It was something would happen, and they would freak the hell out about it for an entire month, and then the very next chapter they would acknowledge it, and people would be like, "Oh, okay, well, I'm sorry."
But actually a lot more people during that month would become more and more stubborn when they let the thoughts sit in, because their expectation, because I would say that people are now more, I guess, prone to changing their minds because of the fact that it's a week. But when it's a month, I noticed more people are stubborn about it.
You let it marinate more.
I disagree with you just because some people aren't even watching it.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. In that case, sure.
Like you're saying, people are just judging it by not even watching it. They're just going by the pictures.
I mean, that's a lot of people.
Yeah. There is a lot of people who do that, which is like you can't judge something just by it's just like judging a cover of a book, or book by its cover. You're not learning anything about it. And we've talked about this, I think, plenty of times on the podcast. You, Jordan, and Heesh. I don't think Champ was with us yet, but Champ's like, darn it. But yeah, it's you gotta wait. And even though he is like a bit more comedic, he's still powerful. Like he's not a weak character. It's just Tamagami
the thing
is strong.
Yeah. Well, also he hasn't got his like cape yet. Like in the initial version of his design that we saw, he didn't get his cape.
The leaks, yeah.
And I think what's going to happen is, and I think this makes his character even funnier. I don't care how strong he is because I know he's not the main villain. I do want him to be like decently strong or whatever, but I don't care like if he's OP or whatever. Like he's literally a Cyberman. I knew better than that from the start.
You have to give him a body. What body are we going to use? Cyberman. Oh, this is going to be
great. Right. But it would be hilarious to me, and I said this on Twitter. It would be hilarious to me is if he gets the cape because Arensu gets caught, because they caught her like getting the stuff to make Boo, right?
Yeah.
So like she gets caught, and then Degasu and Gomer are like, "What are you doing? Like what do you think you're doing?" And she's like, "Oh, I made you guys this. Here, take it with you."
Throw a cape on him.
And that's why he has the cape. Because Arensu like tricks them into thinking that he's like a gift for them, and then whenever they adopt him, they're like, they're like, "Here's your cape." You know what I mean? Like,
and that would fool Goma too. So far from how I've seen.
That's something I noticed actually. I didn't realize is that the higher ups, the official demons, the like upper class wear those capes. So I didn't pick that up at first.
Yeah.
So I was like, wait, hold on, that's a nice detail. And I will say I am glad that Majin Buu is a gag character, because I did not want a repeat of Cell Max of having another character like, oh look, see, it's like we're repeating Cell but with a different different colors and everything, I just didn't want that. It just feels repetitive. I do like that they went the other way, where it's like, oh, you thought he was going to be Majin Buu 2.0? He's actually a singer. He's working late because he's a singer.
Bro, to be fair, like some people, I can see why some people did think that he was going to be a more serious character, because that all of that, cinematography that they were showing in that episode, or they're making him, where you see like the blue smoke,
Yeah.
and when you pause the frames, like you can see like the silhouettes of like all the different forms and such of Boo within that smoke. So it did kind of like, I guess, to like people who, like with the way when they were examining it, they're like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be the next Boo, it's gonna be so big. But it's like, no, it was just kind of like a detail, like an Easter egg, so to speak. I don't think it was meant.
Arinsu did say this isn't a spoiler. Arinsu did say that if he wasn't strong enough, he wasn't worth making.
Mhm.
And also, whenever the Grand Witch was talking to Arinsu, she was like, just put it 5 centimeters down, because we only want this thing to be so powerful. Otherwise, we might, it could be like dangerous. So like, there's a process to creating these Majin like characters that kind of determines like how powerful or like chaotic they are. So it wouldn't be shocking at all that Arinsu tries again.
I
Now
just
that
thought of
doesn't
yeah.
mean,
So there's two.
but that doesn't mean
What?
that if she does create another Majin, that Majin's going to be the main villain, because that's just not going to be the case. I do think that Arinsu is like trying to be Bobbity 2.0, which is odd because Bobbity is the reason that Boo terrorized her people. So the fact that she's willing to try and replicate what he did in itself is strange, but I don't think that the plot with Arinsu ends with the Majin that she's creating. I think it ends with whatever her intentions are with the Dragon Balls.
I
So
disagree.
I think the Majin,
I don't think that she's.
I think the
necessarily-
Majin are kind of just appetizers. I don't think that they are the end goal of the story at all. I think they're just
I don't either.
I don't think that though, that
Yeah.
Arinsu's trying to be like Bobbity 2.0. In fact, like I feel like she's kind of going about this in her own sort of narrative type of way, because the thing is, Bobbity didn't even have control of Boo, but she's been trying to be smarter about it, be more knowledgeable. In fact, like
That's
when-
why I say 2.0.
Yeah.
but like
2.0,
but not, she's not following in the
2.0
footsteps.
implies improve.
I just think it
2.0
makes more
implies
sense when you think
improve.
of her as like the new Toa from Xenoverse.
I'm not saying that she's just like Bobbity. I'm saying she's better than Bobbity.
Yeah,
When
okay,
somebody
yeah.
says that somebody is Bobbity or whatever 2.0, it means that they're better than.
Yeah, it's like an upgrade,
But
like
look-
figures 2.0, and they make it 2.0.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
now-
better than the 1.0.
Okay.
She's
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
she's definitely a lot like Toa. I'm not going to say that she doesn't have any of the traits of Toa, because she very clearly does.
Mhm.
But her intentions are nothing like Toa's.
Yeah.
Toa was just like a chaotic scientist who essentially, don't get me wrong, she did want to take over the mortal realm and time and space and all that stuff, but she never necessarily wanted to be the Supreme Demon King, and that was Arinsu's actual goals. And Bobbity, at the very beginning of the story, the Degasu scolds at him because he wanted to rule both realms. And it seems like that's Arinsu's goal, is to rule both realms. So she's still trying to be more like Bobbity in terms of her intentions than Toa.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's interesting. So I like back to the whole thing. So we did get an interesting detail, specifically that Marba had actually been selling Cyberman seeds to the outside world. Most likely the demons, utilizing warp to go ahead and give them out. So that was like a very like interesting detail. We pretty much called that because of the whole ever since the whole thing with the pointed ears and whatnot.
And that makes a lot more sense now that we found out that at one point there wasn't even a portal between the mortal realm and the demon realm, and it was all just one giant demon realm.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
okay, here's another funny detail.
Lore.
So
Go
here's my theory. So you know how there was 2 Cyberman seeds in that glass? I can imagine what will end up happening is that when they go to plant the next Cyberman seed into the dirt, they'll accidentally drop it, and it'll get placed under dirt, and they'll accidentally make a Cyberman from it, like when they drop the seed. And then next thing, they have to figure out another way to make Boo.
I don't even think they'll entertain the idea of using a Cyberman seed as the base again. I think they'll try to find.
that was
I
a
think
fail.
they'll try to find something with a stronger essence, something that could. I think because she wants to make something more powerful. So whatever they use to make the next Majin is going to be, it's going to be a more powerful base. Now, what that is, I
I
don't
hope they
know.
don't use
But
anything from Goku.
Ooh.
yeah, we'll find out. I don't know.
Yeah, because that like
Maybe
if
she'll
they get
take
a
some of
blood
Goku's hair or
sample,
something.
yeah,
Yeah, she's gonna make
or they get a
Zycor, bro, with
sample of the
Goku's
blood.
DNA.
Oh my god!
That would be, imagine that it'd be like a Boo slash Goku type villain. And already, as Jordan was saying,
Evil
Goku's
clone
like the
Goku?
monster.
The evil clone Goku.
I don't think it would be, they won't do another Goku Black or evil clone
Yeah.
Goku. It'll
No, they're
look
not doing
totally
that. No.
different. Yeah, yeah. It won't look like Goku. It'll just have his genes for like a stronger body or being more
Yeah.
powerful. Because two, I mean, he was strong, but we saw he couldn't even defeat Tamagami, uh, Tamagami number 1, which
One.
obviously is the
Yeah.
strongest out of the 3.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that is very, very interesting what you just made me think of there. They could be taking some of
Yeah, I
Goku's
have no idea
somehow.
what they're gonna use, but I have a
Yeah.
feeling it's gonna be better than the Cyberman.
Mhm.
They're gonna
Oh,
use
yeah,
bubble gum. That's what they use for Boo. So they're just gonna get a little bit of bubble gum and be like, "There you go.
Well,
You
that's
can
the crazy question.
regenerate."
Do you think that the that Ku has regenerative abilities like Boo did?
I don't think he does because
Yeah.
again, he's a Cyberman.
Yeah, so
But he has the
But
essence
he's a
of Boo.
Cyberman, but he's also a Majin, so I don't
Mhm.
know. It could like the thing is he has a bunch of abilities that Cybermen didn't have already.
Mhm. Yeah, they couldn't be able to form ki. So
he probably could.
He can still probably
Possibly.
open up his head and shoot white liquid from it.
well, I want to know if he can like grab like the Tamagamis and just blow himself up. He should have went with that. Go out like
A lot of
Chaozu.
people thought. I
The
remember a
fact that
lot of
he
people
didn't try that, the fact that he didn't try that when
He just
Arensu
gave
was
up.
like, if you're not strong enough, you're not worth being around is hilarious.
Yeah.
Because you would think,
like, I
with a
admit that too.
Cyberman's mentality, when somebody like Vegeta is like, I'm gonna kill you if you don't do your job. That's the entire reason that the Cybermen decided to kill Yamcha is because Vegeta's like, I'll wipe you out anyway. I don't
Oh
care.
my
The
god.
fact that
Bro, hold on. Brother Ship
but the
said in the
fact that
chat.
Majin Buu was like, "No, bro, I'm not killing myself." That is hilarious.
Bro, hold on.
That makes
Brother Ship in the chat said, "What if they find some of his poo?" I think they're referring to Goku's poo. So yeah, that
Oh
shit
my
he took in
God.
that one episode, they're gonna find it, and then they're gonna make Majin Poo with the poo. Oh my god!
Get out of here. Go. Go. The door's right there.
Imagine
Oh.
I wouldn't. Toriyama loves to joke around.
I wouldn't put it
I
past
could
Toriyama.
doing something like
me
that.
either.
Yeah,
He's
they'll
gonna
get the
look-
poo, and it looks like the poo from Dr.
Arensu
Slump.
is driving with Majin Buu in the back seat, all like freaking pissed off and like humiliated to like go pick up Goku's turd somewhere so she could try to make up for making Majin Buu.
Oh no!
Oh god. You know what else I really liked in episode 10? This was more towards the second half because the first half was really cool fighting Tamagami 1, which was it was a good action scene too. But I really liked the whole second half. We got more lore. We got more Vegeta, Piccolo, Bulma, of course. We learned more about what are they called? Glens?
Bro, I'm
Guilds?
actually I'm gonna tell that to Danny. I'm gonna
Glenn.
say, yo, what if this is how? Maybe that's how they'll make the next match.
What did you say, Jordan?
Yeah, the Glen, you're right.
Glenn, yeah, we
the
learned
Glen.
more about that. Yeah, as we were talking about before, like how they sent off one of them to create pretty much the universe, the multiverse.
Oh, we're skipping that
Dragon
part.
Ball.
Well,
Yeah, well,
he is likely something like a Glend, but they
yeah,
call him a super Majin,
Mm.
and that's
Yeah.
a new term. They've never used the term super Majin before, right?
yeah.
Now
that's
we
true.
do know that the Super Saiyans are just evolved Super Saiyan. They're just evolved Saiyans, right?
Mhm.
That's just like
Yeah.
that's all. So
Yeah.
essentially, like we can just assume at that point that the Super Majin is just he's like the top of the evolutionary food chain in the demon realm at that point. Like
Yeah.
I think he's something like the Glend. I'm not saying that he's not a Glend at all, but I'm not sure that he's a Glend in the stereotypical sense, because I think that he is more evolutionarily advanced than the Glend themselves. Like, I think he's a more advanced creature.
Being able to create worlds and all that type of shit, and
Well,
the Dragon
you
Ball
know,
universe.
the Kai are creation gods. They have the ability to create things. They even have the ability to create life. It's just kind of looked down on for them to do it. So, like, Toriyama talked about in an interview, what separates the Makai or the evil Kai from the good Kai is the fact that the good Kai kind of look down on the idea of being super involved of the development of mortals. Like, so essentially, like, what they'll do is some.
Oh no, he's cutting out again. Jordan!
An important part.
Jordan!
It's an important part.
Dang it!
Well, while we're waiting for him to get back, not to cut him off, but something I do find interesting is that when we're talking about, how the Kais are like, it goes back to like who created the universe. What was the name again? Remind me.
Rhymes.
The
Yeah.
Super Majin guy?
Oh, he's back.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No, wait.
sorry. But anyway, when they create life, they
Yeah.
create life with the intentions of manipulating the Majin they create. They want to control them, right? So, and we've seen this with Piccolo, like, like with the Namekians. When they create Majin, they use them as slaves. So the evil Kai, when they create their life, they don't create their life with the intentions of letting them have autonomy. They create them with the intentions of ruling over them and like dominating them in a sense. And in that sense, they have an incentive to be more involved in how the life is created and formed. And so they'll use magic to like mold life forms into things that are more suitable for their needs. Whereas the Kai are just like, whatever happens in this developmental process, we're just going to let it happen.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the defining difference between the two, and that's very, very important to remember, because one thing that the series is kind of talking about without outwardly talking about it is black magic and white magic. And most people don't know the difference between those two things, but black magic is selfish magic and white magic is selfless magic. So the fact, and that's something that a lot of people overlook about the relationship between Rymus and the good Demon King. The good Demon King ordering Rymus to create the universes is kind of like a scapegoat to make sure that Rymus didn't create the universes with selfish intentions. Like, he created the universes because the Demon King ordered him to, and it's like an entirely selfless endeavor on his part. And that's a very, very important detail that people are overlooking. So essentially, the universes were created with white magic, and Rymus is a white magician. Whereas like the Makaio and like characters like Degasu who work for the demon realm, they're black magicians. So like that, all that stuff is very, very important. Because it does factor in to how life itself develops in Dragon Ball's cosmology. Because when they directly interfere with life like that, that has an impact on how the entire realm is formed and the life within it. And the same can be said about the mortal realm. So,
Jordan. Gatum jumped.
He's in the chat.
Into the chat.
No. No, he's saying.
Being an idiot.
Oh my God, we're not gonna listen. We're not gonna bring up names, any of that type of stuff on the channel right now.
I just looked at the chat.
I think Danny wants to join in on the live.
Oh my God, Danny, I was just telling you, I gotta message you about this. But one of the guys was thinking that like if they're gonna try to make another Majin Buu, they'll use the shit that Goku left in one of the episodes when they were hiding from the Gendarmerie. Like, and then that'll make a Majin Buu. Okay.
Majin Buu. Oh God.
That'd be great.
All right. So
okay. So yeah. Back to the Go ahead.
Some,
But
so, like,
one other
before it
thing
got
too, before we move on,
distracted.
there's a video that Jordan did on his channel that explains the difference between black magic and white magic, and there's a lot of very interesting information on there that has to do with how magic and ki are related. I think I talked about that as well in a separate podcast episode where Jordan was where Jordan talked about it, because it's definitely good and relevant, especially because like that also had to do a lot with the specific reason as to why Degasu wished for everyone in the story to be children, for all of the people influenced by Goku, because
Well,
that was a white.
what's
They
really
didn't want it to be a
important.
black wish.
What's really important about it is that's what separates the hierarchy of the gods in each realm. The gods in the mortal realm are only gods as an extension of having chi. That's the reason they're gods. They're not gods because they're strong magicians. They're gods because they've developed their chi. And the Kaioshin, unless you're like a pure-hearted good Kai, you don't get to be a Kai. And the purpose of that is very clearly to make sure that they use white magic instead of black magic.
This actually makes
So
an
white
interesting
magic is
theory. So if you make a selfish
Yeah.
wish with the Dragon Balls, Shenron will grant that wish using black magic. But if a selfless wish, which is what they were talking about, the difference between black and white wishes, then that must be done with white magic, because the white magic's
magic is just magic. What
but it affects
defines
the
it as
karma.
black?
Surely,
It
this is what I'm
does. You're
getting to.
right.
I think it affects the karma and how they would end up reaping for the results of that wish, which is what we see the theme of Dragon Ball numerous times. How the villains would always like. I'm sorry if I'm cutting you off. You're the guest here.
Wait, so you're telling me if you're a black magician, you get bad karma? That's crazy, bro. Jesus.
No, I think it's just the karma shit stuff with the Dragon Balls in particular. I don't know if
Yeah,
like
they're
actually,
making it more blatant.
yeah,
They're definitely making it more blatant. Yeah, but anyway, the reason the whole black and white magic thing is important is because if you don't like cultivate yourself to be a more selfless person, you're going to use black magic. And when you cultivate yourself to be a more selfless person, that's how you create chi.
Yeah.
So there is a connection between chi and magic in that sense, in the sense that all of these characters in the mortal realm who are more powerful than the characters in the demon realm are only more powerful as a result of like developing themselves and developing chi.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, that's what makes them white magicians. So that is important. Like, it is a very important detail. And it also explains why the demon realm is so much weaker physically than the mortal realm, because they don't do anything to cultivate their chi. They just focus on using magic, black magic, and therefore they're weaker. And
So
but yeah,
because Goku,
it does.
so because they're establishing that ki and magic
It's
are
like
pretty much
Star
the same
Wars in a
thing.
way too.
Yeah.
Jedi and Sith.
It is like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
that's
is
pretty much
another
exactly
tie-in
what
with
it
Star
is.
Wars. Yeah.
It's a
Another
multi-referential type of thing. So
Yeah.
technically, because
That's the reason.
of the
That's the reason. A few episodes back, you saw Shin use a force push, right? And then you saw like Glorio running around using force lightning. Now, despite the fact that Glorio is a good guy, and this is something else that people look over, it was a very, very important detail. An episode a few episodes back. But do you remember that episode where Shin and Glorio are talking about his motivations, and Shin is like, why do you want to take out Goma? And he's like, it's because he's an evil Majin who hurts other Majin. And then Shin is like, you have a very strong sense of justice for a Majin. That strong sense of justice is the reason that, despite the fact that Glorio appears to be a good guy, he can use black magic, because he has like a corrupted sense of morals. And despite the fact that he looks at what he's doing, as the right thing, it's very much like Anakin. He thinks what he's doing the right thing is the right thing, but he's corrupted his moral compass in the sense that his intentions are still inherently selfish, and that's the reason when he uses magic, he uses black magic despite being a good character. And that's something a lot of people overlook about Glorio.
Yeah, I mean, we know who he's working with now, so you're kind of like a little skeptical about him, but like he is helping like the good guys as of now. What I'm worried about is him betraying them at some point. and I'm not
I
sure
think
if
he
he's
will
going to.
betray them in the sense that, okay, so this is what I think happened. I think Arinsu came to Glorio and she was like, well, if you want the barrier between the three demon realms destroyed, you have to help me do what I want to do. So I think Glorio has good intentions. I think his intentions are to separate the class system, destroy the class system in the demon realm, essentially make everybody equal in that sense. So I do think that he has like good intentions, but he's willing to do evil things for those good intentions, and that's the reason he has like a corrupted sense of justice.
But that makes it
Yeah,
interesting
like
because you establish how Ki and magic are pretty much the same exact thing in Dragon Ball. It essentially makes Goku like a white magician in the sense because of the fact because he's using the positive powers.
Well, I wouldn't say he's a white magician. It's just that he uses chi with a pure heart, whereas characters like Vegeta use chi with a corrupted sense of morals or justice. That's what ultra ego is. It's like letting your identity completely dominate your perception of what's right and wrong. That's what ultra ego is. He's letting his survival instincts, his like inner consciousness dominate his perception of things. And yeah, it's like so like destroyer chi and angel chi is like the dark side and the light side of the force in Dragon Ball in terms of chi. Whereas like Super Saiyan is just like chi. There is no like dark side or light side. It's both. It's like the middle ground between the two. So chi in itself isn't really what I would consider like a white magic trait. It's like a perfect harmony or a perfect blend of both selfishness and selflessness. And that's what Super Saiyan is in most chi-based transformations and like Goku's themes in general are. Whereas with magic, you've got black magic and white magic. So like if you were going to put it on a spectrum, black magic and destroyer chi would be over here. That's like this dark side of the force. And then the angel chi and the white chi or the white magic would be over here. That's like the light side of the force. And then like dead center in the middle, you would just have general magic and general chi. Right.
Okay. And that's where they're working at most of the
Right.
time, but like they all lean on something, but it's not like cultivated completely until like the Dragon Ball Super.
Right.
That makes sense. And that's what specifically I love this because this is like, bro, Daima's making Super so much better with all this. You explaining this just makes Super like way more interesting because it's like how Daima actually helps in really enhancing the themes and such. It really does. It really is like a fantastic blend and such with Journey to the West and Star Wars and whatnot. It just makes it all the more fun to watch.
It definitely
yeah, I'm really excited for them to reveal that the Namekians are alchemists. That's like because the Dragon Balls are alchemy. Nobody wants to acknowledge that, but they are. And chi, and this is something I've talked about on my channel too, but chi is also alchemy. The ability to take the energies of the natural energies of the universe and cultivate them and use them from within to create higher forms of energy. That is considered an internal form of alchemy in China. It's literally called internal alchemy in China. Qi as a concept comes from a concept called internal alchemy. It is considered alchemy in the ancient practices of the East. It's like an alchemical process that we create within our own bodies. Whereas Chinese external chi is something like the Dragon Balls, where you create objects that can facilitate an effect that's very similar to the effect we feel when we create chi within ourselves. We're essentially creating an object that can develop and affect the world around us. So that's what I'm the most excited about is for like Dragon Ball to make its alchemical themes like extremely blatant because that's just something a lot of people don't know about Dragon Ball. The role that the Dragon Balls play in mortal development is going to be very, 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 very important. It's something that they kind of talked about in the Granola arc a little bit whenever Bardock, made a wish, a selfless wish, and Manito was like, he has the right idea because he's creating hope for the future. And then whenever Minaito almost makes a selfish wish, and he's like, "If I do that, it's gonna doom us all." That's basically like their way of telling you that the use of the Dragon Balls has a direct impact on how the universe itself develops. And at the end of the Tournament of Power, if you'll remember, when 17 makes his selfless wish, you can see this like look of excitement in Grand Priest and Zeno's eyes to get to use the Dragon Balls for alchemical purposes. Like that's something a lot of people overlook is Zeno and the Grand Priest are using alchemy right in front of us, and nobody picks up on it because they don't know what they're seeing. But by having Goku influence 17's selfishness and turn it into selflessness, which alchemy is all about converting negative things into positive things. That's what alchemy is. So by having 17 take his selfishness and purify it and make a selfless wish, they essentially pushed the mortal level of the entire multiverse to higher levels. That's like the entire point of the ending of that arc, is that due to everything that happened in that arc, next time Goku runs into the people from the Tournament of Power, they will be more spiritually cultivated and they'll be more powerful and they'll be more like martial artists. And a very, very similar thing is going to happen with the Demon Realm. By the time Goku is done with the Demon Realm, like, and that might be why this takes place before Super, like, by the time Goku's done with the Demon Realm, like way later down the line, it's very likely that Goku will be reintroduced to some of these characters or even the concept of the Demon Realm itself. And it will be further developed and more powerful and more, new powerful characters can come out of it due to the fact that Goku visited them.
I have an interesting theory. So there's a scene that we talked about this a little bit more. It was in Journey to the West, and there was a scene in which Wukong, he destroyed the tree that bare the fruit of immortality and such. Actually, I don't know if it was fruit of immortality, but it was fruit that like extended your lifespan by like a few hundred years or something, or maybe 1,000 years. I don't remember the exact amount. But eventually they get to the point in which I believe Wukong goes and speaks to the goddess of mercy, if I'm not mistaken, and basically she shows a way to for him to go and repair the tree. So what I think that Dragon Ball is taking inspiration from is that when you look at the actual Glin tree, the Glin tree is essentially the thing in the story that got destroyed at some point. And so if they're gonna be repeating that sort of themes, I think that what's gonna end up happening is that Goku is eventually going to gather the Demon Realm Dragon Balls, and what is he going to wish for? I think he's going to use the wish from the Dragon Balls to repair the Tree of the Glin. That way, more of them can prosper, and their race can continue to thrive. And that will be the effect of Goku having on the Demon Realm, the positive one that you're talking about.
I think that's going to be part of the effect, but I don't think that's the entire effect. Because I think the entire reason that Pansy, like her entire role in the story, is to be someone who witnesses the legend.
Which is what?
I think Goku is the legend. Goku is going to become a literal. Goku is going to become a literal legend that they talk about, a mythological folk hero that they talk about in the Demon Realm. Pansy is a princess. Yeah, Pansy is a princess, okay? So she's going to have a loud voice anyway by the time this is all over, because she's the princess of the king of the third Demon Realm. So she's going to have a loud voice anyway. Now, anytime you see Pansy comment on things Goku does, she's always hyping him up like crazy. She's always like, how is he capable of this? Look at all this crazy stuff he can do. What the heck's going? So yeah, I believe that her role in the story is to bear witness to Goku as a character, so that way Goku's impact on the Demon Realm will supersede his stay there. Like it's not just going to be Goku just being there isn't what's most important. It's the impact that he's leaving.
He's going to be like the inspiration, like King Arthur or something.
If Tamagami 3 trying to practice Kamehameha wasn't a huge indication of that, I don't know what is.
No, 100%. Like, However that goes, it's going to be interesting. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about a little bit more about episode 10 because we did gloss over, but it was great information. So when we get to episode 10, we see the funny gag scenes and such, specifically with when we did talk a little bit about this, but it was a funny gag.
With Ku?
Yeah, with Ku trying to fight Tamagami number one.
Yeah, we're up to the second part.
Yeah, to cut a long story short, we get this funny scene where it's like he tries to beat Tamagami number one, but he's like, I can't do it. I can't beat him. So he just goes over to Arinsu and apologizes for it. And then it cuts specifically to Goku. They're using Warp, and they give Goku the ears. And then they go over to Demon Realm number 2 because they want to fight the Tamagami there. And in that realm, they get attacked by the Gendarmerie. And it looks like this crazy Star Wars scene, which they're getting inspiration from Star Wars, like how they're in the ships and whatnot, and they're dodging. I'm just imagining that whole scene, but like with Star Wars sound effects replaced. It's totally a Star Wars scene. Just and you can put the Star Wars music in it too. So
there's always a bigger fish.
Yeah. There is always a bigger fish. So Glorio actually has knowledge. Said that if they were to fly too low, then what would happen is that the Krakens, the Krakens would just go over and eat them up. Like they would be like
release the Krakens.
So what happens is Goku would, my 88 AD. So Goku would they realized, okay, Glorio's not able to pilot the ship properly, and so so Goku's like, oh man, you know what? He just gets out of the ship and just starts like throwing out the power pole and starts beating up destroying a bunch of the ships in the process and such.
Yeah, that was
cool. Also we just realized that this Demon World does not have the gas, so they can fly normal, and it doesn't take a lot of their stamina.
But I love that because it also gives them reason to make the scene more exciting, as they're flying faster and such.
Yeah, so now they can fly long distances without getting tired.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's actually interesting. I like how there's like different challenges in each Demon World. Like they're going up. It's like like Dante's like Inferno. Like they're going through different stages. Yeah, they're going through a different level,
Yeah.
So I like that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So specifically, as they go and so as they continue on, they fly very low. So Goku defeats all the Gendarmerie, and they end up flying really low. But they fly too low, and as a result of that, the Kraken basically gets their ship. And Pansy's like freaking out. I was like, oh no, but we don't know why she's freaking out. She goes back into the ship. And then she goes out.
Oh, I know why she was. Yeah. I knew why she was going back. They're like, what are you doing? And then you see her come out. You see the strap. Kind of see the bag with the Dragon Ball.
She saved the Dragon Ball, which would have been really bad if they had lost it. So that was good. Yeah. That I think also is the purpose, like what Jordan you were talking about, like the sort of Goku effect. Like she's there to bear witness and to preserve the legend and such.
Yeah.
And then as they're flying, Goku, or they get to the original Namek, I guess. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, Goku's like, he just stops and stares. Vegeta and them are here. I'll go get him. I thought he was going to teleport, instant transmission, but he flew right to him. And he's explaining to them, like, there's a monster. Don't go. And they're like, what is he talking about? Open the door. Let him in. And then he starts telling them there's a monster. And Vegeta's like,
what is a monster? What are you talking about? Then the monster comes like, oh gosh.
That was hilarious. That was hilarious when as soon as Vegeta said that, it was like the monster heard him. He was like, hey, bro.
He's like, you're scared of a little monster? He's like, I see why. Never mind.
Yeah. He looks directly at Vegeta. The Kraken literally looks right at Vegeta when he says that. He's like, hey, bro, I'm here. What are you trying to say?
No, you're talking shit.
Yeah.
I will say, like, something to note is that the Glens and the Nameks, they share the same home world. Mm-hmm. And what's funny is that I think that adds a little bit of more context of why Piccolo kind of recognized Shin during the Buu saga. Because I feel like of course he knew like he was a deity, but like I feel like deep down, like since Demon King Piccolo, came from the demon realm, I guess part of him kind of knew that was also another demon.
I would say that's more so the fact that like it's because of Kami's being in the hierarchy. He has knowledge.
Yeah, Kami, Kami's knowledge, yeah.
I think that's what it more so was. But
so why do you guys think that Abura closed off access to the demon realm?
Because he lost control of the demon realm since he lost the third eye.
That's not what they said.
It's not what they. Well, I thought that's what we were theorizing. Okay, so why do
Well, that's
we?
part of it. That's part of it because with the third eye, he'd been fine. No,
Isn't he worried about someone overthrowing him? Yeah.
he's worried about people from the new realm coming into his realm and taking him out.
Yeah.
Ah.
Think about it. What
They
if
locked
Frieza
everything
or the
Hold on.
Saiyans
Think
got it?
about this. Think about this.
Mhm.
Who is Goma currently scared of coming into the demon realm? Who are the first characters that were shown in the first episode to be like, man, these things are kind of scary. Like maybe we should
Yeah.
like make sure these things don't come into the demon realm and like destroy it. Who's
You know, if
Goma
they
talking
minded-
about?
Degasu.
If they minded
No,
their own business,
they're
none of this would
talking
happen.
about
Rinsu.
the Saiyans.
The Saiyans. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
they-
Goku.
they're scared of the Saiyans coming in
Yeah.
and attacking the. Now, what if? Okay, what happened was the Saiyans were born, and Aber was like, nope, nope, nope. Closing that off.
So the destructive power
those
be like,
things
nope,
scare-
shut that shit down.
Those things scare the living hell out of me. And the entire reason that Abra cut off access to the mortal realm is because he saw what the Saiyans had become, and he was like, "Nope, I can't."
I can't imagine the meeting. Abra was like, dude, you just see this crazy shit? These monkeys just turned into big ass monkeys. Did you see that crazy shit? They blew up a goddamn planet.
So Goma could just be repeating history, and he doesn't know it. Like he could literally just be like doing the same thing that Abra did all those years ago and just not realize it. Now, what's very interesting about that, and I talk about this in the video that I'm going to drop tomorrow. There is a time point in which the mortal realm at one point in time is the demon realm. At another point in time, it's no longer the demon realm. And the defining line there is Abra's rule over it, right? Now, the Saiyans came to be very likely prior to Abra leaving the realm, which means technically the Saiyans were born in the new demon realm. Okay, they were
That would mean
technically
Earthlings
like
too.
No. I think the Earthlings were born after Abra left. And that is the difference between the Saiyans and the mortals and why they can breed, because the Majin had a direct impact on how the Saiyans were formed, but by the time the humans were born, they left, so they had no impact on how the humans were formed. So I think what we're going to find out is the Saiyans as a species were directly touched by the developmental processes of the Majin themselves, while also being, developed by the higher dimensions like Zeno and angels and like all those people. Whereas like the humans are only developed by the higher realm. They're only developed by like the angels and the mortal realm and all that stuff.
Okay, so how much do you think that the new demon realm specifically at that point had expanded for the Saiyans to be involved in it, but then not the humans?
So I think that, like I told you before, the Majin, when they create life with the intentions of using that life for a purpose. They're not hands off, right? So what I think happened was Abra and everybody at the Demon Realm at that point were somehow involved with how the Saiyans came to be as a species, right? Like that they like were directly involved with like their development, because remember at this point, and I talk about this in my video, it's very likely a deal between the angels and Zeno and Rymus and the Kai and all of the people from the Demon Realm. They're working together to create life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're coming together to so what that means is what makes the Saiyans unique from the Majin is the fact that the angels and Zeno were directly also involved with the development of the Saiyans, whereas all of the Majin before had no influence from the higher dimension. They had no developmental influence from Zeno or the Grand Priest or the angels. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to say the Saiyans are the result of the Majin and the higher dimension, and the humans are Majin are completely hands off. They weren't involved at all, and they're only the result of like the more hands off approach that the Kai and the Grand Priest and the Angels all try to practice.
Okay.
I think that I think that the Saiyans had something happen to them to make them unique as a species that derives from the Majin and the Demon Realm
And
in
like
comparison to
specifically
the
why
human.
like they have like these evolutionary traits like Super Saiyan, Great Ape, and whatnot.
Yeah,
Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting.
because
Yeah.
because it makes sense that the Saiyans would become super dangerous. Abra would be like, I'm cutting off access to the demon realm, which makes it to where the humans don't have to deal with the influence of the Majin or the demon realm at all. It just makes perfect sense. Because Abra has no reason to be scared of the humans, but he does have reason to be scared of the Saiyans.
But
And
not
if
even
he's
just
scared of
that,
them,
but
if he's
it makes sense because what we were talking about earlier with black and magic and white magic and like white in like in the key and whatnot. So their race has kind of always been like, you know, in that exact middle, like on the hindrance of possibly being, you know, like beings of pure good or pure evil. And Goku's an example of
yeah,
like the Saiyans actually reaching that sort of potential. And that's why you were talking about, you
yes,
tell me
there's
this
a
in private, but like you think that this is specifically as to why Grand Priest, when he saw Goku in Super, he would smile upon him and thinking like, you know what, this making the Saiyans was definitely worth it. This is the all of that work that we put into the Saiyans, like culminated into Goku.
yes. I
Yeah.
believe that the reason the Saiyans appear as destructive, demonic, ape-like creatures is to reflect the fact that at their highest form, at least in Goku's case, they become something reminiscent of the angels. I think we're literally looking at the same spectrum, the demon realm spectrum and the angel realm spectrum within Goku himself. We're actually seeing the spectrum of life within the Saiyans themselves.
It's actually interesting because I feel like Super Saiyan would kind of like be more so like that enlightened state, which they talk about, and the Great Ape would like not be, but they're all part of like the same like culmination and such of the Saiyans. But more so with the themes and such, Super Saiyan literally being the enlightenment and Great Ape being like the destructive nature and such. But now it's like with the themes being more
Yeah.
blamed, like in story, like they're all part of like the same thing. But like from the themes and such, they're treated like they're on the different areas and whatnot, but when they're not.
Right.
That is an
Yeah.
interesting theory.
I think the Saiyans come from the new demon realm, and that the humans came from the mortal realm. I don't think that I think that the Saiyans were I don't know about created, but at the very least cultivated as a species prior to Abra leaving and the Majin having no influence over how species are created. So, and that's always been my theory. Like my theory has never rode on the Saiyans being from like the old demon realm. It's always rode on the idea that the Majin and the Makai had a hand in the development of the Saiyans along with the humans and the Kai. Right. So my theory has always been like what they used to evolve each creature, the Majin and the humans, went into what the Saiyans are, and I still believe that. I
Yeah.
think the only thing that's changed
It
is
could be.
yeah, I think the only thing that's changed is that the location in which they evolved is in the new demon realm rather than the old demon realm. And I also think that whenever they're like questioning at the beginning of Daima whether or not um, the Saiyans are Majin, the reason they're questioning whether or not they're Majin is because they essentially are Majin in disguise. They're Majin that look like humans. That's what
Yeah.
they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We could find this out
I don't
Yeah.
think we're gonna find out
in
about this in
Daima.
Daima. No,
You
the
don't
reason
think
as to
so?
why, yeah, because in order for this to be known, they would have to explore the case with the gods of destruction and the angels and such like that. But Daima would have.
No, they don't. All they have to do is just show the meeting between Rymus and Zeno and point out when the Saiyans were born. They
Yeah, because
literally just said in the last episode
they've been
that the
given a lot
Saiyans
of
were
lore.
born after. Yeah,
They've been given,
they literally just stated in the last episode that the Saiyans were born after the new expansion of the Demon Realm was created, right? So we already know that they're thinking about the origin of the Saiyans themselves. it would not be that shocking for them to be like, this is how and when the Saiyans were born.
You think they're gonna show? You think they're gonna actually show Zeno and Daima?
Yes.
Okay.
They could. Yeah, they could.
You're right.
I mean, they have been showing a lot of lore in such little time, too. It's not like a whole episode or something, kind of like how Z used to be. They're really telling like a lot in a short amount of time per episode, like when they tell us stuff too, which is interesting.
So how would you think? Because like with the Grand Priest like smiling towards Goku, it's almost like he was the one who was involved specifically in like the creation of the Saiyans entirely. Like from what
well, they're not involved. They're not involved in the sense that they use magic to determine how the creatures are going to come out. They are involved in the sense that they're not involved. Their methods are, we let the mortals develop themselves, and as a result, they become something greater than what they would have had we actually become involved. So I think what happened is the Majin were the one who were being selfish and trying to mess with the Saiyans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're like a new life form that came as a result of the Super Majin Rimus and Zeno and everybody working together. They were that new life form. They were the first new life form that Rimus and everybody got together and they're like, okay, well, if we're going to make life, let's work together to do it. The Saiyans were that. That's what they were, right? So that's like the perfect opportunity for Abra or somebody like that to come in and be like, well, I still want them to be Majin. Like, I want to, like, directly, like, you know, no matter what character is, yeah, any character could come in and be like, I still want these creatures to suit my purposes.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that's what I think is going to happen. I think somebody creates them with, or not necessarily creates them, but cultivates them with selfish intentions. And the only reason they turn out better in the long run is because of the methods in which the angels and everybody else adhere to, which is why somebody like Grandpa Gohan could exist. Without the angels being like hands off and allowing the humans to grow on their own and learn the spiritual lessons that they learn by being hands off, Grandpa Gohan would have never existed to be there to influence Goku in the right direction. So Grandpa Gohan is kind of just like a catalyst of the developmental processes of the higher dimension being used to influence Goku and like push him in the right direction in the future, in a sense.
Yeah. Could be interesting. I'll definitely I'll have to hand it to you if this does start coming true in Daima.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but listen, we forget one important piece of information that episode 10 has revealed. This is way more important than all the other stuff. Is
Oh, I know. Go.
Vegeta likes boobs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
74 artists,
Well,
you
not
know
just-
what to do.
Not just
He's
boobs.
a man. He's a man.
Big
He's got
boobs.
kids. Come on.
Of course he does. Of course he.
Yeah, and it wasn't just boobs, Heesh. It was big boobs.
It's a primitive thing, you know.
It's a primal thing.
Our,
Of course.
it's our masculine primal instinct.
Of course.
Yeah. Also, we do get to see.
He ain't trying
I'll
to
be
catch
right
that Diddy
back.
case with Bulma, bro.
We do get okay. We do get to see a little bit of episode 11, and to me, it looks real exciting because now we get more Vegeta. Vegeta fans will definitely be happy for this since him and Piccolo haven't been in it too much as Goku, of course, but we're going to see him fighting Tamagami 2, which I know is going to be stronger than 3. And you know, Goku wasn't really struggling with 3 at all. So we'll have to see how Vegeta's able to fight him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Vegeta's fight with Tamagami 2 is going to be amazing. I have absolutely no doubt that it's going to be awesome. And I think it's also going to be the start of them basically telling the audience that we're going to get more Saiyan lore. I think the entire reason that like Vegeta is there is to essentially ease everybody in. So what's going to happen is, okay, so as you saw in the last episode, at the very end of the last episode, Neva shows up. Right? And because Neva shows up, that basically tells us they're about to tell us everything about the Namekians that makes Piccolo's presence there relevant. Right? Like that's what that means. It's like here you go. You're about to get the pickle. You're about to get the Namekian stuff. Well, what's
I know your
left after
father.
what's left after the Namekian stuff, right? You got the
Yeah.
Glen stuff and the Saiyan stuff, right? And that's
Mhm.
it. And that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So
Yep.
after the Namekian lore drops we get, after we learn more about the Namekians, we'll probably learn even more about the Glen and about Rymus. And by extension, we'll also end up learning more about the Saiyans. And that's the
Yeah.
reason that all those characters are there. They all have a very important role in terms of like expanding on the lore. That's the reason the Saiyans, the Namekians, the Glend, the Majin, they're all there together because they all
Yeah.
have a role in this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you always gotta love getting more Dragon Ball lore, which I'm sure the diehard fans are loving this. I know I'm loving it. Yeah, and I always love when they delve more into lore. Yeah, I know you do, Jordan. I know Geekdom Danny's probably loving it, and I know Heesh, and there he is, Champ
There's
is
Champ.
loving it too.
Mhm.
Yeah, so they're really tell you the truth, I wasn't when they first were showing off Daima, I wasn't super hyped for it. I'm like, I'm gonna watch it, see how I like it, and it really took me by surprise how much I'm really enjoying it. And it really shouldn't, because it is Akira Toriyama's project, so it's not
Yeah.
I'll definitely
surprising.
say that it's not like Daima isn't like 10 out of 10 perfect. I do think there are some little bit like a little bit of flaws that or maybe nitpicks that I have. Like,
Mhm.
each episode's like, dropping lore just one after the other. I'm just like, okay, I would kind of like a little bit of a break. I don't mind lore, but
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
feels like it's like, okay. It's like, oh my
Oh,
god,
you
hold on, let
want
me
it to get
process this. I'm still
you want
processing
it
last
to get a little
episode.
slower, or it's just hitting you too much at once?
I feel like it's hitting me too much at once. It just feels like, oh
Well
my god, like
Well, if you think about it, the first, like, what, 6, 7 episodes were kinda like a lot of, like, adventure-y, like, not we would learn little tidbits here and there, not too much. Now they're trying to delve more, like, now
They're definitely
into
ramping it
the
up.
It
Namekians.
does
yeah.
it
Yeah.
does feel like a
Now
lot, but
it's
also at the
moving.
same time, I feel like it's also very a rewarding show if you're a diehard Dragon Ball fan because you keep just getting
Yeah, yeah.
introduced with more and more stuff. Like,
Yeah.
And like what Jordan
Yeah,
was
like if you're
saying,
somebody
next
like me
episode.
who's already been thinking about this shit for years, like yeah, it's like insane.
I'm just hoping
Yeah.
like all this lore about connecting everything to the demon realm just doesn't make the world of Dragon Ball feel small. Because in Super, it made it feel like so huge. We're talking about all these different universes, and it
Well,
still does that to an extent. I'm just worried about things all connecting to the demon world, where it looks like that's where almost everything began was in the demon world.
Yeah. Yeah.
well, I
I
think it's
see what
going to
you're
connect
saying
to
with
the
that.
demon world and the angel realm. You
Yeah.
could make the argument. You could make that same argument about Super when we
God
found out
bless
that
us
there
here.
was a higher realm.
Yeah,
Like when
Yep.
we found out that Zeno was like sitting there playing chess with the universes, you can't tell me that doesn't make the universe feel small.
No.
You know what I mean? Like so, but like I think that a lot of it is going to come from the demon realm, but I think that the angel realm also predates the mortal realm. So I don't think it's going to all be based around the demon realm. But in terms of the existence of like lower entities, lower life forms, it makes sense for it to come from the demon realm.
hmm
Because higher life forms don't just come from some place like that.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It definitely takes like going into like talking about religion, like it definitely takes on like like Christian religion, like the like what is it like yeah, what do you call it, the apple from Eve and Eden, shit. See, I'm
Yeah.
like
Adam
drawing
and
a
Eve
blank
were
right now.
knowledge.
Adam and Eve,
Yeah.
thank you,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, he's really a
Apple and
Catholic. He
Eve? Did
doesn't
you
know his
say
own shit.
Apple and Eve?
But like, yeah, but it's like it does kind of like, Toriyama definitely had, he definitely took inspiration from not just like, you know, Western culture, but Eastern culture as well. So it's very interesting that he's how he incorporates that into his stories. And it's I don't know. I just I do like that's cool. I'm I don't know. It's just
mean,
it really is a show that's growing on me more and more. Again, like I said, I still have my nitpicks here and there,
I
saying like, "Oh,
wonder. I wonder. We all probably knew that he was gonna pass away. Maybe this was his
What?
final story. Like Toriyama.
Oh yeah,
Like
he
he
knew.
probably knew, yeah. Maybe this was his last story to try to get in whatever lore he wanted to get in before his passing. It
Bro,
could be something like that
he
too.
dropped like a bombshell and made it in such a way where whatever they continue with Dragon Ball has to like be specifically loyal and cater to like the way that he writes. Like just for example, the demon realm in Dragon Ball Heroes, the plot behind that was that the demons that we see in there, they created the demon realm. But Daima completely flipped that, making it so where the demon realm came before anything else that we know in Dragon
Mm.
Ball.
yeah,
They just expanded from it.
which Toriyama is studying like occult type things as well. Like I said, alchemy. Like he's and anybody who studies those types of things knows that life coming from the demon realm makes much more sense than the demon realm being created by demons. Because most people who believe, especially the Chinese who believe in like these alchemical processes, they all believe that lower energies exist first and they're always made into higher, more advanced, more greater forms of energy. So you essentially can't make something out of nothing, right? It
yeah,
makes much more sense for everybody to progress from like the lowest possible state of existence into the highest state of existence. That's a much better way of looking at things.
In the regard for
And it
development
speaks
of the
to like
mortals,
Toriyama's understanding of those things. Yeah.
like the mortals need to like. I think that it makes sense, is with the creatures to start out very selfishly, because over time, like, which is what the plan was from the Zen, they want to make them learn how to be more selfish, as a species, because they know what the opposite of self, like they'll be able to understand that it's the opposite of their nature and strive to like go for that. And so that's why they end up having more potential and such to be selfless, because they're inherently selfish.
Yeah. Goku takes somebody with a huge ego
Mhm.
and he's like, "Oh, you want to mend that ego? Do it with your fists." And he forces them to work on themselves. And that's why most people who Goku has the biggest impact on are massive egotistical demonic monsters, because
Vegeta,
those
Piccolo.
people those people would have the most motivation to mend their ego and their pride, because they are so prideful and monster-like and egotistical. So Goku like plays like a psychological game with these characters where he takes like their most negative toxic character traits and he turns them into an extremely productive and positive character trait, which is exactly what Grandpa Gohan did with Goku as well. So
He tried to do it to Frieza, but it didn't work.
it did work now.
I
That's what
mean,
Black Frieza is.
Yeah, but it's
uh,
it's an interesting thing,
he
because like
he still like wants to kill Goku though.
when you look at the thing is
Does
now,
he?
Black Frieza is
Does
even
he?
more
Hold
interesting.
on. He could have killed Goku.
That's true. Steady
He
clotheslined
could
him
have
both.
easily killed him.
Bro,
Yeah.
Easily.
Frieza is now, because of Daima.
Frieza is a
Frieza's,
black magician confirmed.
no, he's even more thematically like
Black
interesting,
Frieza.
because he's purposefully black and white. Not only is it symbolizing the yin and the yang, it's also the fact that he's taking in the aspect of Goku, which is the light, but mixing it in with his dark. That's why with Black Frieza, he's not just Black Frieza. He's like
Yeah, like
white, black, with like the white chest and such. He's black and white.
yeah, at the end of the Tournament of Power, I thought he was maybe going to turn a new leaf and stop trying to hunt down Goku and finally kill him for
No.
good. Yeah.
No. He says at the end of the Tournament of Power he has no intentions of changing his evil
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
And I believe that that is still true. But
Yeah.
I believe that in order for him to be effective and productive in his goals, he's realized that he has to practice the things that Goku practices, and that
Which
just
is
so
why he's getting
happens to
so
kind of keep
powerful.
him. Yeah, it
Yeah.
just so happens to like keep him in check in a way to where he's not running around destroying everybody. but he is like kind of like orchestrating his plans to like, essentially rule over everyone. That's his actual intentions. People think that his like most like his deepest desire is to kill Goku, and that may have been the case at one point, but they've been setting it up to where no, his actual greatest intentions are to dethrone Beerus and then Zeno. And I think at this point he sees Goku's ways and Goku as a character as a tool that he can manipulate to work his way to be able to achieve his goals. So I think that that's the reason he didn't take out Goku and Vegeta, because if you remember at the end of not the end of the Tournament of Power, but in the middle of the Tournament of Power, whenever the gods react to Goku using Ultra Instinct, Frieza's like, wait a minute.
Yeah. He's like, very
This
interesting.
guy might be a bit more useful than I gave him credit for, type of thing.
Which is technically what Vegeta was using him for a long time until, I mean, he still uses him for it, but he did turn a new leaf. Like he stopped being like pure evil. I mean, it wasn't always like super pure evil. Like Frieza more was pure evil, but Vegeta had that villainous.
Like the people were worried that the Goku
I would
effect,
argue
because
he
it's
still
so
has the villainous thing going on. It's just that his sense of morals and his sense of principles have been manipulated to a way to where as a canon, he's being fired at villains, right? So he's a villain toward villains. He's a villain's villain. Like, I still see him as like a villainous character, but he practices the things that he used to do as a villain towards villains. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. Like he's the good bad guy. But he ever since he got a family, he definitely had to change heart. But yeah, he still is like a villain to the villains they're fighting, but he's not like how he was in the Saiyan saga or in Namek
No,
saga.
of course
Because
not.
he was straight up. I mean, he still kills people, but he was straight up like killing the innocent
All he had
back then.
he only had pride in himself. He only had pride in himself. Now he has pride in his family, and he's trying to extend his pride to everybody, including Kaba or like random people that he's met, Granola even. And I think the separating factor between Vegeta back then and Vegeta now is that Vegeta's like, well, I'm not just worried about my own pride. I want everybody to share my pride. And I want to be able to have pride in everybody around me as well, which kind of like feeds into his role as a god of destruction, because that means that he kind of has a motivation to develop mortals in his own unique way, because he wants them to have that pride, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that the Grand Priest views Vegeta as a success, like not like Goku, but in a different way for the Saiyans, for creating the Saiyans?
No, I think that the destroyers are essentially the higher dimension coming to terms with the fact that mortals are destructive, even if they do spiritually cultivate themselves. So it's that's the reason that the final goal of the angels is to teach the destroyers how to use Ultra Instinct. Because until they can actually pull off taming their ego, they're not an example of what the Grand Priest is actually looking for. They're close, but they're not the actual example.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't copy off me, Heesh. I'm responding to him.
I'm responding to you.
Oh.
Don't talk like you're not one of us, bro. You're also one of the nerds here in this party. Yeah. Okay, let's answer some questions real quick. So, Chan Bin Bin, I hope I'm saying your name right, says, okay, I hope they give the future of Dragon Ball to Toyotaro and let him cook. We'll see.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I hope...
I'm pretty sure he has it.
Daredevil. Okay, he's asking you, Daredevil. It's like, yo, Daredevil, are you guys going to cover Jump Festa 2025? There might be some figure announcements there too. That would be cool if we can like do a live stream and just like, react to the stream as it goes. Thing is though, is that like, actually you guys would be more than happy to do it. Like, Chad, maybe I need to show you how to like do the Do the thing on OBS. Be like,
Yeah.
I can't, like, if I'm not here, I feel like the show should still be able to continue. So I'm gonna have to like show you all the settings and such to do that so that we can properly
It's not
stream it.
until I don't think it's till like Luffy, stop licking me. I don't think it's till like the very end of December. Like you'll be back by then.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I think it's in. No, I'm gonna be gone from the 21st to the 28th.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I'm
we don't
pretty
have to
sure.
do it right
Hold on.
away.
Hold on, when is Jump Festival? I forgot exactly. When is Jump Festa 2024?
December 21st.
Wait, what the heck? Friday, December 15th through Sunday, December 17th.
Oh, it's happening right now?
Yeah, maybe we could do it
Oh, maybe we
before
can. Yeah.
21st. All right, so we could do that. Yeah.
I thought it was way later. I'm caught off guard.
Yeah. I think we should rippity wrap up the live soon too.
Okay. Any further things about the episode that we like? I guess there's nothing that as important. We pretty much got into most of the deeper things from that and whatnot. But I guess,
Yeah.
10 episodes in,
We
I
delved
say
into it.
if you haven't watched it yet, definitely watch it. It's I approve 10 out of 9.9 out of 10.
9.5 out of, yeah, that newest episode, that was great. I love the lore that we're getting from it. I'm loving Daima right now. Like and when we get to the next halfway point, actually the next halfway point, what am I talking about? The
Yeah,
next
That's
episode.
almost like when you were saying thank you to us for having you on the podcast.
No, I wasn't
you
gonna.
host
I wasn't
us.
gonna say that. Okay. The next episode. Well, not in this podcast, but I was about to say it in the previous one. But like next episode, I'm very excited because it's gonna be a Vegeta centric episode. I think a lot of Vegeta fans
And more lore. I think we're gonna get more lore.
I think a lot of
like
Vegeta
we're
fans are
doing
gonna be
with it.
very, very happy. I think because I'm
Oh,
not
yeah,
gonna get
'cause
into
he's
spoilers,
fighting the
but
next-
Danny
he's
did make some videos, and I think that one of those videos is gonna cultivate.
Oh
Yeah, in the preview, it looks like he's going to go up against the second world Tamagami.
yeah. That's
So
what it is. Yeah.
I'm interested in because we need to see more Vegeta fight. We did see him a couple episodes ago fighting those bandits, but it's time that we get some Vegeta action up in this bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we will.
So before we go, let me just ask this question. What do you think is going to be the reason that Vegeta fights Tamagami 2 instead of Goku?
Because Vegeta's gonna want to actually go since Goku fought Tamagami number 3, and he's like,
Hold on,
Yeah,
Goku was like, look, Goku left them behind to go fight Tamagami 2.
Yeah.
When they
I
were in
think he's
Demon
gonna make
World
a big
3, he
deal
was
about
like,
it.
I think Vegeta
He's
will
gonna
just
make a
really
big deal
want to
about
fight
it
him
to
since
Goku.
Goku fought the third
Yeah.
one, and like
He's
there's a
gonna
chance.
say that exact thing to Goku, and Goku's gonna be like, "Fine,
It's my
kinda
turn to
like
fight the
they usually
Tamagami.
do."
I would love to see Vegeta to use the Noibo. It's probably not going to happen. But I would love
That would be
to
cool.
see. I would love to see Tamagami 2 be like, you have to use a weapon at first, at least, and then Vegeta use the Noibo. I would love that.
They
so
could
much.
also
It would
do
just-
rock paper scissors to who fights them too.
They were doing that in the intro. They were doing that in the intro.
Oh,
they were kind of look like they were about to do rock,
Bro,
paper,
great
scissors.
If that was an Easter egg to fighting Tamagami 2, that's genius.
Yeah,
I love that.
They do that a lot in anime.
Or they could do the thing where Vegeta and Goku get into a
Wait,
little
who
squabble.
lost in that rock paper scissors competition?
They didn't show it. They
Yeah, they
just
did.
showed them starting it. No, they were kind of going like, and then it stopped.
Yeah,
I could have
I
sworn
feel
the
like
people on.
that's what's going to happen. They're going to
Then
argue. about
I would
who's
say
gonna
you're
fight it,
probably
and then
right
rock,
about
paper,
what's
scissors.
going to happen then. If they didn't show the results of the Yoshambo, then that means that's probably what's going to happen. Yeah.
That it's going to lead
All
into
right.
a little squabble, and Vegeta's like, "No, Kakarot, I will fight him," and then they're going to get into a little fight. But
And Piccolo's just
it's going to be
stand
very
there, like,
comedic,
whatever.
because it's going to be.
It should be a good episode. It seems like the episodes since like 8 have been getting really, really good. I mean, maybe 7. They've just been getting gradually better and better. It's 8 and 10 so far are my favorites.
Mhm.
So
All right. With that being said, I want to thank you all for joining the stream. This was really fun. Thank you, Jordan, for also being a part of
Thank
this.
you.
This was great. Next episode we're gonna do will be on the 20 like it'll be the 30th of
20th?
December or something. No, the 30th, because on that episode we're gonna be doing our list of the top whichever action figures of this year.
Yeah. And then we'll try to do the Gem Festa before you head out.
No, I searched. I saw someone. Danny said in the chat that Jump Fest says this week. So, and someone also clarified it's going to be this weekend on Saturday and Sunday. I'm not going to be here at that time.
No.
So,
Then we'll do it sometime after.
well, we'll just have the information
Or
and stuff.
yeah. If anything, Champ, you and me could just go on live on our phones or something.
Me.
Personally,
Yeah.
I'd just like to show how to do the OBS thing, so that's the way like you guys can just like be on the corner side of the screen and just watch it. Anyways, we'll talk about this in another. And guys, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the comment section. Take care. Have a good one.